Welcome back, people, to another episode, Sunday Sessions with Rich. I think this episode 80, if I'm doing my math correctly. So welcome back to episode 80. My guy, Lonnie, back on the show. This is probably what, your fourth, fifth trip around
Man,
the
this probably like
sun?
what, the third or fourth episode? Yeah, we
I,
seasoned.
I
We
love
seasoned
it, man. I
veterans.
love it. Update us what you got going on, bro.
Man, there's been a lot. Um, really kind of just new. I recently just moved to Miami, Florida, about
Word.
the end of May. So it's been roughly almost 6 months. Yeah, tomorrow will be like almost 6 months. So, I've been doing that. Doing my 9 to 5, type stuff. Working on growing my chef business as well.
Booming.
Really just been, yeah, it's been on the up and up. I actually do got a client I gotta cook for later
Hell
today
yeah,
on
congrats.
Halloween. So yeah, so just been out here, just networking and connecting with new people and seeing the city. Miami is a really cool city. It kind of reminds me of Atlanta in a lot of ways. But
That's crazy.
yeah, it's been a vibe. There's been some challenges here and there, you know what I'm saying? It hasn't always been 100% smooth ride,
Yeah.
as to be expected. But it's definitely been like an experience for sure, just making new friends. It feels like you ever like, how when you watch movies and like, or like you watch TV shows and like
Mhm.
it's a new season and the
Yeah.
characters in a whole new environment with whole new people and plot. That's kind of how it feels like. I look at my life like a movie, like, damn, like this is a whole
That's a
new
great, that's a great
season.
example.
This is a whole new like variety of people that I'm around. Like it's just a whole new everything. So like kind of just adjusting to that has been really interesting.
How was the because you mentioned to us you was moving to Miami. How was the initial move? Was you like excited and shit?
It's funny because in a lot of ways it was really kind of unpredictable. I mean, I won't say unpredictable, but it was kind of unpredicted. Like I really didn't even expect to move, but certain things kind of happened and aligned, especially after I left the whole network marketing stuff that I was
Mm-hmm.
in. I'm pretty sure you remember what I was talking
Mm-hmm.
about earlier when I reached out to you about it. So I kind of left that alone, and I just really kind of had to make some important decisions, and it just
Yeah.
kind of led me to be in Miami. And then it kind of worked out too, because it's so crazy how manifestation is so real. Because I remember like
Bro,
2 years ago, I was saying like, "Yo, I really want to go to Miami. I want to go to Miami. I want to go see family and stuff." I haven't been in like 5 years, and then sure enough, things aligned to where I end up being out here. So words is
every,
powerful.
everything come full circle.
Everything come full circle. Yeah.
Hey, you seem a lot happy out there too.
hmm
I
I
love
think
it, man.
I think what I enjoy the most is it's cool when you're in a new environment and nobody really knows you. It almost feels like you can kind of like like recreate yourself. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like you can almost like choose a new path. Because like when you've always been in the city that you grew up in and everybody knows you and you know where everything is at, it's almost like you kind of hit like a glass ceiling. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I've been here my whole life. Like I grew up in Atlanta my whole life. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I pretty much know for like 20,
That's your
what,
comfort
23,
zone.
24 years. Yeah, that's my comfort zone. So it feels good to be somewhere different where it's like, okay, I actually got to pay attention to things. Like I got to learn, okay, this is this street. This is where this is at. Like
Yeah.
it's a whole new, like, it's like a whole new
Like a
game,
fun
like a whole new
adventure.
level. Yeah. So I think I like that a lot. And I feel like for me, it's always been easy for me to like kind of adapt to new things. Like I
Yeah.
don't really, it is not really hard for me to adapt. Like I'm already like speaking Spanish and stuff. Like it's
That's
crazy
crazy.
because
That's
people in
crazy.
Miami, like a lot of people speak Spanish. You know what I'm saying? Like it's damn near like the official second language. Like you'll see posters and billboards translated in Spanish.
That's wild.
So you kind of got to learn because like it's like Cubans, Dominicans, Puerto Ricans. Like it's such a
Hey,
very diverse city. So
that's
like
love.
yeah.
That's love. So, what? How's the like the little? I guess like the life out over there, like restriction wise, is it like normal? Is it?
That's funny because I would say like Florida as a whole is really kind of more, they're not really super, at least from how I see it, they're not really super strict on a lot of stuff. Like, people are still, I guess, people still wear their masks and all that stuff, but it's not like in Georgia, like where they was like super like, nah,
Yeah.
if you go in here, you got to make sure that you got, jab. You gotta have your thing on. People be out here walking in the stores, no mask, no nothing. So it's not even really like super controversial, at least to
Yeah.
me. Some people are still like, oh, like I remember I was shipping something for a client. I was in like FedEx and I ain't had no mask on. This guy was like, yo, like you don't got on a mask, nah, 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 nah. And it was somebody who didn't even work there that came in the
Damn.
store and was tripping on me. And the lady was just looking like, okay, like like it's not that serious.
Right.
And I'm just like, I mean, I get it, but it's just like, yo, like you're gonna be okay. Like I'm literally finna leave. Like you're tripping about a mask. Like, yo,
Look, it's
it just shows me
two
how
years
fearful
in.
people are. Like, I get it because sometimes I still be wearing my mask for work and stuff like that. But it's just like, I don't know, people really letting this get to their heads. Like,
It's,
I don't know.
we 2 years deep into this.
Mm-hmm.
And this should just be some critical thinking at some point versus like you regurgitating just fear and whatever you hearing. There's people
And
out.
that's what a lot of it is. Like, stop watching the news, yo.
Bro, they you know they ain't gonna do that shit.
It's
That's
just
like
crazy to me.
lifeline.
Like, it's almost 2 years. You know, some people still haven't left their house and like went outside and like did stuff. Like, I was
Look,
like, damn.
bro, I be
I just
saying
can't put my life on pause like that. How do people do that?
well, the first year I can understand, right? It's this big scary
Yeah.
virus that's killing people, which ain't even fucking killing people. They just making a number sound scary and people
Mm-hmm.
buy into the shit. Well, people, some people are dying too, so let me not say that because I don't know who listen and watch.
Yeah.
But by now, some fucking common sense needs to be had. Just take care of your damn immune system. You'll be all right. That's literally the
That's literally it. And it's crazy because it's like I've been saying that for like the longest. And I've known people who literally like had COVID and what the main thing they said was, yeah, I just had to like, get some herbs, get my immunity up, and then everything went away. So even if you had it, the natural remedies work better to help you eliminate it compared to going out there and getting the jab because
no.
people are getting it and they're still getting sick and still dying.
They
And I'm
they
just like,
admitted
what's
that
the
you
point?
they admitted that you can both the unjabbed and the jab can both get it and spread it. So at the point, it's like, what's the point of the thing? Now they got they rolling out that booster shit now.
Mm.
So now if you double jab, it ain't gonna matter because you ain't got the boost. So
Oh
you
my
can't go to the
God,
grocery store if
yo.
you don't get your fourth or fifth booster. How that at that point, everybody should wake up. Like, come on now, this shit a whole
Are
scam,
they really gonna say that? Nah, what?
bro.
Nah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Nah,
It's a
people really gotta think critically. Like it's right there in plain sight. And sometimes I'll be feeling like, damn, like, am I the only one that's seeing this?
but look, common
Because it really
sense
don't
ain't
even
wrong.
feel real. It feel like we in a movie. Like, how is this real
Oh,
life?
this because this shit is a movie, and we keep being shown this shit, and we was like, how? But it's just all about because one thing I've noticed too, bro. A lot of the characters in this shit are like not like NPCs, like not like just like background characters kind of shit. So that make sense as to why certain people say outlandish shit and why some people are so
Mm-hmm.
unfazed by it.
Yeah. And I,
Like,
I think I think it's crazy because it's like I think about the future of the world and like where like I'll be trying to like understand like okay, well all these things that's happening like what's the bigger
what's a big agenda?
agenda of what's going on? Yeah, because you got
Right.
to even look at like how because I feel like everything kind of all connects in ways like you look at stuff that's going on in the technological world, like how everything is going very what's the word I'm looking for?
Well, virtual.
Like the stuff, yeah, like it's virtual. That's the word. Like you see the stuff that just happened with Facebook. You
Oh,
know
we
what I'm
gonna talk
saying?
about that too. We gonna talk about that
The
too. The whole
meta
meta,
thing.
man.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yo, like what in the world is happening? Like we really in the future right now. Like it makes sense. You see the stuff happening with NFTs or crypto, all
Right.
that stuff. It's just like,
Bro, they
wow, look at
showed
where
it
the
to
world
us
is
on the
going.
movies. They showed it to us on the movie. So it was just that predictive programming at that point. They showing it so it ain't like a damn. And now it's showing in real time. So it's I can't think of it's this movie. I don't know if it's Wally. Um,
Wally was such a real movie.
was that
Wally
when
could
they
happen in real
like
life.
that's what I'm saying. That's what shit, I could see that happening. But just the whole virtual reality and people being
You
absorbed in
talking
it.
about Ready Player One? I was
Yeah,
watching that, but I haven't finished it. I seen so many people on Twitter reference that when they saw
bro.
the Facebook thing. I was
Literally,
like, it kind of makes sense though, because the virtual reality thing, and you can like have your own life inside the game, and you can buy stuff. That's like NFTs. You can literally
bro.
buy and like own stuff, but it's like in a virtual world.
That
But you
shit
can pay for
wild.
it with real money. Yeah,
So
that shit is
people
crazy.
go dip off. This shit finna get scary. People go dip off from the real world and just exist in that little lucid matrix. Basically, another matrix.
Damn.
That shit
Yeah,
wild.
that's crazy to think about.
They
Because I
had a
remember
black.
watching that Ready Player One movie, and I was just like, "Yo, like this seems like it could be a thing. Like I could see them doing something like this." People
Yep.
was literally in their bedroom, in their living rooms with the set on, and
Yep.
they're playing the game for like 14 hours. Like,
Yo, you want to know? I just had a thought
yeah, that
though.
shit
I
was
just had a thought
crazy.
about that. So I could see this being one of the parts in the agenda. So if people just being told you gotta, mandate and stay at the crib, if you got that virtual reality setting, you can dip out somewhere else. You ain't gonna give a fuck. Life's sweeter in the little experience versus
Damn,
the real life one. So you go get comfortable.
that's crazy.
It'll be people
Nah, but
stories.
as crazy it is kind of cool because it's like, damn, like look at the options that you have
Yeah.
now. Like, it is kind of crazy.
Cause I
I
will
just
say,
think, oh, go
no, go
ahead.
ahead, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, I feel like we gotta, where do we draw the line between like this progressive technology versus like still having the real like human experience of doing regular stuff? You know, I feel like
Mhm.
it's almost like I think about the other movie, I Robot with Will Smith, like
Yep.
when take because Tesla, I think what's his name?
Elon Musk.
Uh Elon Musk. Remember they rolled out the robots?
Oh
Did you see
yeah,
that?
yeah.
I was like, it's gonna get to the point where like that's gonna be a part of day-to-day life. Like they're gonna be doing all types of stuff for us. Like
But you,
it's crazy. Like where do we draw that line? Because I don't know, man.
I don't even think it's a line. If we not in charge of how this shit happening, we just as spectators at that point.
Yeah,
Because they
yeah, that's true.
technology is beyond
Yeah, and that's the crazy thing too, is like a lot of stuff that we even get shown is like
tip of the
the
iceberg,
beta, yeah, the tip of the iceberg, the beta stuff that they've been practicing on, but the real legit
bro.
advanced stuff they probably got tucked away.
You
But
feel
when
me?
the stuff they testing works, like okay, we didn't work that one out. Now we're gonna roll out the real thing.
But that's how
Nah,
that's how they get past their karma. They give you the terms and conditions. They give you like the little heads up, and then we just accept it as reality, and then they keep pushing at that point. It's a lot. Think about that. What's that TV caption they do before the show come on? Viewer discretion advised. Is they literally that's your terms and conditions saying we about to program you. If you continue watching this, then you consent to the program.
damn, I never thought about it like that. Damn,
That shit
that
is
makes a lot of sense. Sheesh.
that shit wild. That shit wild. Like this whole because I can literally see people being absorbed in that metaverse shit. Because I thought about it like when he
Yeah,
first
that's
said it, I
gonna
was
take
like,
off. I saw the video. I was like,
yeah, I was like that shit look cool. Ain't no front.
nah, it looked cool. I was like, wow, that's
Mhm.
cool, but like people are gonna run with this.
Easily. You tell me I can have whatever life I so you basically when you break it down, you I guess it's called the spirit world or just like our lucid state. You
Hmm.
in that state and you can experience whatever you want whenever you want. Of course you're gonna stay in that bitch. You manifesting in real time with different characters.
But I just think it's you see, but like because I've seen certain movies too where they talk about how like what's that thing where they can this has been talked about in a lot of shows. Even that show I'm watching right now, Manifest, which is
Love
like
that show. Love that
is I'm
show.
watching the first season right now. It's crazy. They talking about like how the human consciousness is all connected. Just like you see in Stranger Things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just like in Stranger Things, remember the hive mind thing and how
Mm-hmm.
like all the demodogs was like connected to the the Demogorgon thing,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm saying it right, because they had like they was all connected like consciously.
Yeah.
So remember the little tunnels and shit they was running through? They was
Yep.
like it was like a hive, like they was
It sounds like a
connected,
little
and they was
web, all conscious
yeah, and
web.
the lady was saying that in that manifest show how like the human consciousness is all interconnected like that. So I brought that up to make my point of like if that's a real thing, then they could do the same thing with technology, like transferring people's consciousness into like
That's the
I don't know,
point, though.
just like in that you seen Lucy, right? With what's her
Yes.
name?
Yeah, Lucy.
Remember
Yeah.
at the end how she like basically like turned into like the little flash drive thing or whatever the little computer device was.
Yeah.
Like her consciousness went to that. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like that could be a real thing as it
That's
advances more. Because what if somebody says, I don't want to be a human anymore. I want to just live in this alternative universe. And then they
damn.
transfer you into something.
So you trapped within this bitch,
So
and
now you're in there. Like what if it's like irreversible? Like you can't go back to being a human because like your
that's
consciousness is in that.
that's
That's
wild.
deep. Yeah, I'll
Maybe
be
I
thinking
mean
about
not
that.
even maybe. I think that is gonna be that's what
I
transhumanism
think
is.
yeah, Elon Musk has talked about that before.
Fuck.
Transhumanism. That's crazy, right? Like that's why I'm saying where do we draw the line? Because it's like it's gonna come a point in time where people are not even gonna want to be human, like for real anymore. If they could make these other worlds and places seem more, it's like
That's
what's
the
gonna be the point of
ultimate
being
soul
human?
trap, though.
I don't know if I'm comfortable with that yet.
You
Like,
feel me? I don't. But
and that's not too
it's people
far
free
off. That's
will.
not too
It's
far
not.
off. Yeah, people free will.
It's people
That's what I'm
free
saying. Free
will.
will.
Shit.
Yeah.
Because you got people who don't even like who they are inside this body. So if they can dip off and be a completely different character, think about
Which
that.
is kind of like social media in a way, right? Social media,
Mm,
I think, was an experiment because online you can literally portray yourself as anybody you want. That might not be who
damn,
you really are in real life, but think about it like that. Social media was kind of like the beginning experiment to all of this. Let's see how they
damn,
interact with these. They get likes and comments and then. It's like conditioning us.
damn.
Damn. That shit just came to me on the spot. But
There's conditioning us for the big show.
for the big thing.
God
We
damn.
already so addicted to this already. Like it's not gonna be a hard
Facts.
transition. Like, oh, we just gonna give them a little thing.
Little
You could be
goggles.
inside. Imagine you could be like walking on Instagram or something. I don't know, like some 4D type shit.
Damn. Like the concept does sound cool. Don't get me wrong.
It does. Like that
Sound
would be
cool as
really
shit.
cool.
But not
But
transform my consciousness to a fucking artificial little John. I ain't doing that.
yeah, I don't know, man. I gotta because
That's
then it's like, what does it mean to be human then? You know
you
what I'm
not at
saying?
that
Like
point. You have robot, have
you're like a cyborg. Like
yeah,
what's his name from Teen Titans?
bro. Another
Or
they
Iron
literally you
Man.
feel me? They've been telling this for a minute. It's crazy to think that like that not that it could. I think it will happen in a lifetime. Well, I hope it don't. I don't know how to manifest this shit, to be honest. But
Hmm.
it's interesting to think that it could happen in this lifetime.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. All of that stuff is like really it's really possible when you think about it. Like it kind of already showing us, you know. But I actually had a question for you.
Ooh.
How was your trip when I know you went to the mountains and you kind of went off the grid a bit.
Yeah, so me and the
How was that?
me and the lady we had got a little hut out here near the sea, this place called Cornwall.
Okay.
So big ass cliffs. It was beautiful, bro. Just completely just like I don't have service out here much, but when I'm off
Yeah.
grid, I ain't got shit. So just not being like you not instinctively, habitually you used to grabbing your phone just to check. But you do
Yeah.
that a few times, you realize I ain't got no service. So what's the point of me doing it? It was
Yeah, it
night.
was when we checking.
Nobody like even if somebody needs to get to me, you couldn't get to me. That was like the most freeing feeling ever. Like I'm unreachable. I don't want to be found. I don't want to be talked with. Like leave
Damn.
me alone. But it was fucking amazing. Just being by the water. Just being that close to everything, man. That shit is beautiful. We going back for going next month. Got an Airbnb close over there. So I'm trying to spend as much time by the sea as possible. This shit fucking beautiful.
Man. I know that's relaxing for your mind. I could really do something like that.
Bro,
I could
just
use that, man. Just disconnect from everything for like a week.
man,
You come back with a whole new like refresh. Mine,
You
yeah, I need
need
to
that
do something like that,
reset,
man.
man. You need
That
that
reset,
pause in
yeah.
life. Even before that, I was feeling like, because be honest, if I could take a year off, I would. Just not doing shit, just like focusing on me and growing. I would gladly do that off the grid somewhere.
Yeah,
This everyday shit,
for real. That's the goal. I want to be able to. It's
that's next
tiring.
level. Just imagine, just like
Keeping
imagine
up with everything.
you dipped off in Cuba or something, just cooking for clients whenever you want, but your account mighty fat that you straight. You just cooking because you was bored at sometimes and just want to cook for
Literally.
motherfuckers. You
That's
got
the
dinner
goal,
tonight?
man. Literally, the goal is to be able to have a team, you know what I'm saying, of people that could do that for me. Like, oh, such and such needs this. Okay, I'll send one of my team members to go handle the client for you.
Bro,
The goal is to get to the point where you don't even have to cook on a regular basis. Oh, you want this recipe? Okay, here you can order my ebook. It's on my website.
simple. And you
You know what I'm
just created that
saying? And you getting
timeline.
residual income on autopilot. Yeah,
Too
that's the
easy.
goal.
Too easy. And you got a drink
Right.
in your hand, you chilling, living your best life.
You know, little ginger tea.
You
You know what
feel
I'm
me, little
saying?
ginger tea? Let's go.
Keep your
Let's
immune
go.
system strong.
But no, we
Nah,
need
ginger
that,
tea.
man. I'm just real. I don't need like how long do I even want to work realistically, or just what's what's a long term goal? I just want to like just live, just have fun.
Yeah. I'll be thinking about that. I was thinking about that the other day. Like, man, our purpose is really not to like just work these jobs every day and just,
That's why people
you know
get
what I'm
depressed,
saying,
bro.
come home. I really feel it, man, because I'll be like, man, I see how people really get burnt out from this and just, or they just accept it. Like, well, this is gonna be my life. Like I
But
see
that's
some
the
people,
scary part. Our parents and their
yeah.
parents had that mentality, and they just
And I think
stuck with
about
it.
that all the time. Like, I couldn't live like that. Like, how do y'all just accept I'm just working for 60 years and then retire at 65?
I don't even
What?
want to work past 40 if I'm honest. I just
The
want
same job
the same
every
job, bro.
day? Nah,
Your pay
nah.
rate ain't
I
increased at
just,
all.
I just can't. Yeah, you might have some benefits. You get maybe 2 vacation weeks out the year, but what? That's what they give you to keep you. Nah,
Literally.
that's not
Like
living, yo.
you gotta, but then what was the options too?
Yeah,
That's
they don't
also
have the internet and all the stuff that we have. We really spoiled nowadays because we got it so many different ways.
we got it made. They ain't had nothing. You had to like know somebody and
They
they had to
literally had
put
to
you
get it out the
on.
mud.
You
Yeah,
feel
or you had to
me?
know somebody. Only two ways.
That's
That's
crazy. We
crazy.
do we do we do got it easy though.
Yeah, that's true.
Every free
That's why I
game on
be.
Twitter. Free game.
Yep. That's why I even think back too. Like I tell so many of my peers, like as younger than me, like you don't even necessarily have to go to college. Like if you want to, that's cool. If you want to be a lawyer and stuff, but like there's so many different options and ways. Even if you just
Yeah.
have if you have a charismatic personality, or you just like really smart in something, like I don't know, you can make a TikTok page and teach people about it. You build a
Yeah.
following, you start getting brand partnerships, boom, you
Easy.
making 6 figures or something. You didn't even go to school. I see so many people that's doing that. I'm like,
But I just think like
this
unless
the
like
blessing.
you said, unless you're going to college for like a specific thing, doctor, nurse, whatever, okay, cool. You
Lawyer.
just
Mm-hmm.
going there just not knowing and figuring it out. You feel me, you wasting money.
Yeah.
I
And time.
realized that I dropped out of school. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna do this shit without a degree. And then
Mm,
that was just a message I had. But I
yeah.
don't, I just think even too, like people, even like this, like what's like elementary school. Like whenever I had kids, bro, they being it's like a private. I'm not either private, I'm homeschooling, most likely homeschooling, but a little bit
That's
both.
what I would like to do too, either private or homeschool. Because public schools, they don't really, I mean, it depends. Like some public schools are not that bad, but I don't know. I feel like they're not gonna learn the real information, especially like what we know. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
we know the school ain't teaching you. They still teaching Christopher Columbus in 2021. Come on, we all know.
Come
A
on,
sixth grader could tell you Christopher Columbus ain't find America. Come on,
come
like
on,
they still got that in the textbook. So like, why would I want my kid going to that?
because
Or even if they end up having to go to a school like that, I'm gonna still make sure I teach them beyond the book. And that's one thing I wanted to say. Like, I had teachers growing up, in like all my stages of school, high school, middle school, elementary, college, I always had teachers, gratefully, that taught beyond the book.
Mm-hmm.
Like my 11th grade history teacher, he was a black man. I forgot his name, but he always taught beyond the book. Like he always taught us the real stuff that was going on. Cause he'd be like, yeah, see, they didn't put this in the book for this reason. And he would like go deeper into it.
Yeah.
Most teachers are not doing that. They just, here go to homework, here go to assignment, boom, do this, bring it back. Let's have a discussion. Like teacher, it's not a lot of teachers out there that actually like know for themselves, one,
Yeah.
and then care enough too to like really tell the kids like, yo, this is the real thing that was happening. You know what I'm saying? Most teachers are just there to just, do their job.
But that's crazy to think about though, like, cause I don't know, I just couldn't be a teacher just for the hell of it. Like, it got to be like a purpose to like help the kids.
Yeah, I had to really care. I had to really care about the kids. I couldn't just do it because being a teacher low key stressful.
But if
you gotta really love that job.
You gotta like wanna. But then that's beauty. That's like, think about it. It's like angels helping the children at a pure age, just wanting to help them be the best version of themselves. The ones who actually do care.
Yeah. Some teachers don't care. You can tell they just care.
Well, I know that check ain't that big that you, I don't know.
Nah, it's not. Most teachers are underpaid, actually. That's crazy.
It's crazy to think about, especially because you got all them kids, all them personalities. That's a lot.
It's a lot to manage.
That's a lot. I've noticed in too, the piggyback on that metaverse shit, it's kind of like they taking us from source, transferring our consciousness from as source into like little
something that's man-made, something that they created.
But then the soul just stays trapped in here because it's like another matrix to get it. Because you already got to break out of this matrix, which you just got to wake up and know that all this bullshit and you're the creator. But then to even get to that point, you trapped in another virtual reality. So you're going through two virtual realities to wake up. That's fuck.
And then you know what I think about too, with this trans like human stuff, how are humans gonna like procreate? I know they have like artificial insemination and all that, but like I'll be thinking about that too. Like, how are we gonna continue to like evolve the human race and like still exist if we're all gonna be like not real humans? I don't know. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
No, that makes sense.
But are the robots gonna take our place and be like, well, passing the torch?
That'll be wild. Maybe that too is another form of population control, but then an even more deeper control. It's all about control. If I can like really get your free will and we merge, you stuck unless somebody unplug your shit from the other side or something. I don't know. But
like in the literal movie,
bro,
in the literal Matrix movie.
That's what I'm saying. All this shit is just predictive fucking programming. When we say this shit out loud, bro, they literally just showing us.
That's crazy.
So that you really
unplugs you from the other side.
Yo, I had this I had a writing teacher in college. And I thought he was like strange as hell because he ain't let his kids watch TV. Now I understand why he ain't do that shit. I was mocking him before, but now I understand why he did that shit.
He didn't let his kids watch TV.
You gotta be careful what they pick up, because we having this conversation, and it ain't like we saying it like it's natural, but it's because we seen this shit on TV, so we was desensitized.
That's so true. Nah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Damn. That makes a lot of sense. You don't realize, when you not in it, you realize the effects. When you in it so deeply, it's like normal to you. It's like, I kind of said the same thing like when I was in the cult, like in their religious cult, Jehovah's Witness thing. Like, you don't realize how like conditioned you are and brainwashed because you so deep in it. It's not until you take a step back and you leave, you see like everything. Like, oh nah, like this was really crazy. Like, how was they being able to teach us this? And you don't see it because you so in it so deep. And that's probably what the teacher was saying too. Like, yeah, I already know. Like, it probably affected him in a negative way. And he was like, nah, I'm not gonna let my kids go do that. But he's smart. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily say all TV is bad. It just depends on what you watch.
Yeah, what you watch. Exactly.
But I could still understand like why he probably just be like, nah, like they probably reading books, going outside.
Especially
learn more that way.
anything that you get from um like cable TV, you just gotta assume it's just predictive programming at that point.
Yeah.
Unless it's like you watching something on YouTube, even Netflix too. Netflix,
Yeah.
they all same umbrella. Shit, probably even YouTube. Shit, I don't even know, man.
They be taking a lot of the stuff down off YouTube, like stuff that be like more conscientious and stuff like that, and exposing stuff. They be removing people channels
They had
and
they had removed one
taking
of my
people stuff
episodes.
down.
They
Yeah,
had
I
removed
remember
one
you
of my
tweeted that one
episodes
time.
about it was me and my homie Braden Pyramid Realm. We was talking about the
Oh yeah, yeah,
Democratic
yeah. He's
Party.
not cool.
But now they saying the same shit that we was talking about in the episode. I'm like, what the fuck?
Wow. Yeah, they censoring everything. That censorship. You know when I knew the censorship thing was real? When they took what's his name, Twitter
What
account.
Trump?
Yep.
He coming out with his own little social
I
media
seen that. I
platform.
was like, wow. That's
Hey, if
crazy.
that's where because I've been hearing I listen to like channelers and like the channelers who like just talking about the stuff. And one of them was speaking about some kind of like underground platform that comes out with like all the real shit that people need to know about what's going on behind the scenes coming out. And I wonder if that's what they were referring to, the whole Trump
What?
platform. Because
I
you
mean,
can't censor them.
he did kind of expose certain stuff when he was in office, which is I thought was so interesting. Like I remember him. It was a clip I seen a video. It was him and Hillary Clinton, and they was like having a debate. He was exposing like the Pizzagate stuff. You know, like when they
Yeah,
was like the child trafficking and stuff. You know, the Clintons they involved in
yeah.
that, and he was talking about that. I was like, whoa, like that's crazy. Because
He
that was like a crazy super situation.
he was calling people out on their bullshit, which we need. Hey, Biden a little. I think this Biden, he definitely a robot. Cause that
People
man,
regretting it now, like, damn, why did we put him in office? Yeah, that
I
shit
ain't hear
was.
one person. I haven't talked to one person who's been like, yeah, I love what Biden's doing. Because normally you hear a person that prays about the president.
Ain't
Huh?
nobody said it. Ain't nobody
Nobody,
said
bro.
nothing.
They, I'm acting like ain't nothing happening because we got that other man out of here. No, this was
But
y'all
that's what people
man.
said was the goal. Like, oh well, the goal was to get Trump out of office. I'm like,
So yeah, and
I mean, I
now
don't
what?
know. Now we see.
You feel me?
I don't know how much better it would have been with Trump in there, but I mean, I don't know if it would
At
have
least
been
it'd have
like
been
this.
entertaining.
It would have been entertaining.
Let that man
He was
talk, man. Let
he
that
was
man
funny though. He
talk.
was funny.
He was funny as hell. People, you can say what you want about the guy. He was funny as hell. He was entertaining. He don't get no fuck. He blunt. He
I mean, I
blunt.
still feel like all these politicians in general kind of all shady, but I don't know. Maybe in some aspects, I think Trump was a little bit. He just. I feel like he was the only one that really like said something. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't afraid to speak his mind
Yeah,
and say stuff that like most people wouldn't have the courage to say. You know what I'm saying? And
that's
that
what.
sometimes it worked in his favor, sometimes it didn't. But I don't know. I could respect that idea at least.
That's wild to think though, and that's wild to say. I don't know. I appreciate the bluntness of it. This whole
America been so politically correct for so long.
we don't need that shit no more, man.
Yeah,
Just say the shit how it is. To be honest with you.
that goes further. Because I think overall too, if you even if you just look at the past like 4 years of like just how the country has been, you could see it overall. Like people are starting to like realize like, okay, you know what? Government really ain't what we thought it was. Even the people that don't even have any clue about
Come
half the
on,
stuff that
man.
go on underneath, you know what I'm saying, all the mainstream stuff. Like people even on the surface can see, like, yeah, this ain't it.
I
So
think
that's how you
even
know the awakening is like trickling down to
yeah.
people. You can see
Cause,
it.
cause even with everything that's going on right now, cause you'll see like, of course you see the stuff like you'll see videos in like Australia or whatever else, and you get people being beat just for walking around and not having a mask on. Like this ain't about health, bro. At this point, like
They've
what
been
the fuck?
protesting in other countries too. Like
No media coverage
it's
on that shit.
real.
Boys,
No
come
media
on now.
coverage. You would never know in America. But yeah, I be seeing that like other countries are literally protesting, like fighting for their rights. I'm like, yeah, they get it.
That's good. That's because it ain't happened. It ain't hit America. Like it ain't hit America like it's hitting over there yet. So if that shit eventually do when that shit happen, motherfuckers ain't going for that shit.
Mm-hmm.
They's not
Only
going for that
protesting.
shit. But it's just
Crazy.
but it's waking people up, man. It's waking people up because it's like the absurdity of it. Like you giving out information that don't make sense with the mandate. So of course people are like, look, this is a waste of time. Pissed off. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
That shit wild.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I feel like it always takes an event like this to happen of this magnitude where it's like it affects everybody. It's not like a natural disaster where it's like, oh, in this one country, people are affected. Nah,
Yeah.
this is a global,
You feel me?
this is a global dynamic. Like this is gonna affect everybody. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
me.
So it hits different. This is why I think that's what they say, like traumatic events kind of do trigger like certain awakenings in people, or people just start questioning things more.
Mm-hmm.
Because when something hits you that hard, it's like, damn, like, okay, what's the reason? Like people are trying to
Yeah.
understand the why. People
That's
stop questioning stuff when everything is going good. And a lot
you
of times, I
comfortable.
noticed that when you're comfortable, but
Yeah.
when something crazy stuff happen that shake you up, you like, all right, what's going on?
Right.
That's the best. This the best time. It's the best time.
Damn. But
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know. I know the end game of it is just to wake people up from the slumber. And some people go fall deep into a slumber, but that's just what they so wanted during that experience. But
Right.
then the puppet master on the other side is just us playing that character. So this whole game is a fucking twisted ass consciousness fucking playing with his fucking self. And
So
that's it, man. Like every time I go deep into like what's going on. I always pop back up to the surface, and then it's always like, well, this is why all this is happening. It's like, oh fucking hell. But
yeah,
it's just consciousness, man. It's just all consciousness playing an experience for itself. And this act is just waking up the subcells that's still plugged in. We gotta unplug.
yeah. It's crazy. And I look at too, like I look at the younger generation, like people that's like a little bit younger than me,
Mm-hmm.
like 18, 19, 20, like 21, 22. Like I'm like, yeah, I could see like even people that's like the youth, like they already know like all of this off rip. And I'd be like, damn,
Crazy
like that's
though.
the blessing. Like y'all get it at like a young age. So that's how you know going forward, like 20, 30, 40 years, it's gonna be a whole different, like,
Yep.
it's gonna be a whole different world. Like, because people are starting to get it at an earlier age. And I feel like that's why it does make sense. People talk about like we're in the age of Aquarius and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like it makes a lot of sense because it's like you see it happening on a generational level. People don't understand. This is not even just about now. Like it's a
Mm-hmm.
generational thing. Like literally, you're seeing a shift. Like old generations are dying out and new ones are coming in. Like
That's so
they talk when they or
crazy.
don't they talk about like the biggest wealth transfer is happening like right now because a
Yeah.
lot of the like baby boomer generation is passing away and that money is getting passed down to like the millennials and
That's
Gen Z and all
crazy.
that stuff. So it's like a crazy time to be alive because you seeing all these things happening at the same time. And
That's
then it's funny too
wild.
because I grew up religious and stuff like that, and they used to always talk about what's that book in the Bible, Revelation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you really read the Bible or not, but it's funny because it actually has a lot of gems in there. And the Bible and Revelation, they talk about the last days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how like it's gonna be crazy stuff happening, like wars and famines and all this stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Nations arising against nations, all that stuff. And it's funny because like the way they used to explain it, they made it sound so literal. Like, yeah, God is gonna destroy the earth and Judgment Day. But I realize more and more, it's not really like uh, it's not like a literal thing. It's more like
Yeah.
a figurative thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like when they say the last days, they mean the last days of like I feel like certain mentalities and certain
Yeah.
way of doing things. That's what they mean in the last day. So we kind of in the last days of like the endings of a lot of stuff. So
That's
where every
wild.
ending is a new beginning. And then
That's
like it's funny
wild.
too because the Bible talks about how like um when God destroys, like, I guess all the wicked people and stuff like that, then it's gonna be like a paradise earth. I don't know, like, you can kind of parallel that to like when people talk about utopia, right? When
Yeah.
the world is like a perfect, peaceful place. I don't know. Maybe the world, after all this negative, crazy shit happens and the matrix crumbles, we figure out a way as humans to like create a utopia or something like that, where the world can be peaceful again. Will it ever be 100% like that? Probably not,
I don't
because we
know.
got free will. But that's kind of how I interpret that when people talk about like the last days and all that stuff, because it kind of does make sense if you look at how the world is like transpiring.
Because you got like a split between like two people, those who like going with the agenda and others who are just like, wow, okay, I didn't know the world was like this before. And then it's kind of like
Right.
one side built a utopia,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one is just furthering the AI shit. Because it's just it's two
It's a
sides.
split. Yeah.
It's a split. That's what they meant by the split. And it makes so much fucking sense now.
Mm.
You either going along with the shit, or you waking up and you realize, wow, I've been swindled the whole time. Hey everybody, literally, that's
Yeah.
crazy.
That's crazy.
We came here to partake in partake in this shit and assisting.
Right.
And damn, that's crazy.
I think about that too a lot, like how it's an experience that we chose. I have to always remind myself that, like, damn, like, came to this planet to experience this life.
Yeah. How wild
And
is that?
that's why I be thinking too, like when some people don't really believe in free will, and I can kind of understand why,
I see
like,
both sides.
the whole free will destiny thing. I do see
Mhm.
both sides too, but I feel like it's like 51-49. It's like
Okay.
51% free will, 49% destiny. It's almost half and half, but I think it's more free will because it's like you literally have, I don't know, to me, like, if it's destiny, I don't really know how to explain the destiny part.
Right. It's
That's
kind of like
why
a
that's why it
template.
confuses me. Yeah, like free will, I can explain it. Like if I literally get up, walk in the middle of the street, and a car hits me, I decided to do that with my free will. Now, how does destiny explain, like, oh, well, he had to literally, it was in his destiny to go get hit by a car?
Oh,
How do you explain that? You can't
ah,
explain that. You know what I'm saying?
but
There probably
it
is an
kind of
explanation for it, but I don't know how to explain that. That's why I feel like free will makes more sense to me.
it goes into, when you pop up somewhere and it's like it's not a coincidence that you two met, or you look down and found that dollar or X, Y, and Z. So
Yeah, that's happened to me a lot. That's happened to me a lot.
but then in that moment it was supposed to happen. But wouldn't that be destiny too? So that's the
Yeah,
both
that's
confuse
true.
me
Yeah,
too.
that's true. That's true.
So maybe that's that
Damn.
51-40 something, because that's the only way. Then deja vu.
Because I think about it too. Like, I guess depending on how you look at it, like the destiny thing, is it a negative or positive thing? Because
Right.
the destiny that I mentioned was
Right.
negative. The one
Right.
that you mentioned was positive.
Mm.
So I guess it's like, I guess destiny and free will is like a matter of perspective of like, well, if you're looking at it through a negative lens, then destiny can seem like this. But if you're looking into a positive lens, same with free will. Somebody has the free will to literally go get up and go shoot somebody with a gun. But would you call it destiny that that person had to die? You know what I'm saying? Like that's where that whole conversation gets really trippy because I don't really
Have
be knowing.
Have you seen the it's a Black Mirror? I think it's like a movie called Bandersnatch.
Yes, the episode where you can choose what happens. Yo, I love that shit. Where
So
you literally you choose what scene happens, and I thought that was the coolest concept.
right, but
I never seen a show like that.
again, maybe that's telling you how shit is ran in a trippy sense.
Mm.
So it's just you don't. I would like to
Because there's so many possibilities that can come from the combinations of choices that you make.
right,
So like let's say like there's two decisions you have to make and one choice is A or B. Let's
right.
say for the first decision you choose A and then the second decision you choose B. That's a whole different reality compared to if you chose B for both decisions. That's a whole
See,
other different reality. So it's like it's
damn.
literally like both. I guess like your free will is creating your destiny in a way. Or is it the other way around? Is your
I,
destiny already created and then you think you have free will? because I heard people say that too. Your destiny is already planned, but you think you have free will because you're choosing the choices, but they're already been chosen for you.
I think it's
I don't know,
both,
man.
bro.
It
This
gets
shit
deep.
trippy, man. This shit trippy. Because think about it.
It might be both. That's what I'm saying. It's really trippy.
The thoughts that you have the thought you have, go to the store. Is that a destined thought that was planted in your head that you choose to either accept or reject? So it's both. You can choose or not choose to go with the action. But if you do go with it, it's creating that reality. If you don't, then you continue on the path that you own till a new suggestion comes down to the mind. You choose that, then you enter
So
that.
then what? Okay, I got a curveball for you. What if you don't make any decisions? Then a decision is made for you. That's destiny.
Damn.
Damn. Because think about when you were a kid, right? A lot of the times you couldn't choose. When you were a kid, you couldn't choose certain stuff. A lot of the times your decisions were made for you. So technically your destiny was already chosen. If you grew up in a neighborhood where everybody went to college and y'all lived in a wealthy family, 99% of the chance you're gonna go to college and do what everybody else did. So because your environment. So maybe it is both. Your environment is like your destiny, but your free will is like the choices that you make in the environment.
Damn.
So like the Matrix could almost be the destiny, I guess. And then what you do in the Matrix, what you choose is like your free will. But technically the Matrix is already here before all of us. So the destiny was already chosen for you.
Fuck.
So it has to be both. It can't be one or the other. That's why when I had that conversation with people, I'd be like, I see both sides because it's hard to just make it seem like, oh, it's only one.
Is it like that yin and yang? You gotta have
the yin and the yang. You gotta have both. You can't have one without the other. Because it wouldn't make sense if you didn't have one without the other.
That destiny is a contrast that Abraham talks about then. From that contrast, we know what we want. And guys, when I say contrast meaning like your everyday life. So me hitting my toe on the wall, it made me think of, oh, maybe I want some protective shoes. But you needed that experience to show you what you wanted instead of playing victim with it. Like, oh, why this happened?
Exactly.
What is it showing me? What am I supposed to learn from this? Because so with that same idea. So anything that happens, it was destined to happen, but you have the free will to choose how you react to it. What's the lesson? Or am I gonna play victim?
Exactly. Am I gonna do something different?
Yeah.
Or am I gonna experience it the same thing again? Damn. So it is like both. It's like both. Yeah, that's the conclusion I feel like I have for now is both. Because some people really will argue like all the way the opposite. They'll be like, no, it has to be destiny because of and what they will say, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And then somebody else could be like, no, it's free will because of But I feel like, you ever seen that circle chart where it's like the overlap?
Yeah.
It's like two circles and then that little middle part that overlap.
What's
that called? A Venn diagram, right? I feel like if you look at it like in a Venn diagram, it's like the same. It's like a lot of overlap.
But at that core, both parties are right.
Yeah, like both parties are right, but there's still a lot of overlap in between because you can't have free will without the destiny, and you can't have the destiny without free will. It doesn't work like that. You can't have the yin without the yang. You can't have positive without negative. You can't have dark without light. So
but that's why you gotta be open to these conversations.
Coexist.
I never want to be in a position where I'm so sold on the idea that something somebody tell me doesn't make me think otherwise. At that point, you might as well stop learning.
That's true. Yeah, that's why I'm saying like I'm always open to having conversations like this because somebody could teach me something that I ain't even think about, or like, you know what I'm saying, they could put me onto another way of looking at it. Like, damn, I ain't even think about it from that perspective. But yeah, I think it's both. I think it's both.
It's interesting having these convos because when people not even get into like you'll come across people who like want to sell you on a point of being, why you should think this way. With me, it's like I'll tell people what you believe is true. That's your free will. I'm never gonna try to persuade you. And sometimes that triggers people. It's like what is true, what you think is actually correct, and what I think is 100% correct. So we both right. Let's just learn from each
Exactly.
other in this conversation. That's it.
Because at the end of the day, exactly, you gonna go home and still believe the same thing, and I'm gonna go home and still believe the same thing.
Exactly.
So it's like that's what I be trying to get people to see. Like Tyler the Creator had this really great point in this interview he did, and he was talking about like music and reference points, and how like you wouldn't know certain stuff exists if it was never like in your bubble or your realm of existence. Like if you grew up in a neighborhood and you never heard anybody play, let's say Drake, for example, 1st thing that came to my head. If you grew up in that environment and you never heard Drake's music being played, even though most people know he's one of the biggest artists on the world, in your mind, it's like normal. Like, yeah, I don't turn on the radio and hear Drake. But if you grew up somewhere where you did, you have two completely different reference points. So one person may think Drake is like one of the best ever. Somebody else may be like, oh, okay, he's all right. But you got to understand the vantage point, like where are they coming from?
Yeah.
And that's like, that has such a big thing to do with like people's beliefs in general. And I always try to keep that in mind of like, damn, like
that's
how
interesting.
was that person raised, or what environment did they go through? Because if they didn't see certain things, they're not gonna believe it. If you grow up in a place where you never see nobody get on a plane or anything like that, that's like non-existent in your reality. Because that hasn't entered your consciousness in a way. Like it make when you break it down like that, it make a lot of sense. That's why I don't be arguing with people no more. Because I'm like, yo, you probably just didn't grow up how I grew up. You didn't see certain things that I've seen. Like we have completely different like places that we coming from. That's why I don't really understand the point of arguing with people, because I'm like, y'all not thinking the same way.
It's point you're not getting anything out of it. It's just like you said, it's all from your person's vantage point, from where they're looking at the situation.
Exactly.
Damn.
That's just like too, like I kind of had this analogy I made up a couple years ago, how like if you take 10 people and you sit them in a movie theater and y'all all watch the same movie, I guarantee you each individual out of those 10 people is gonna look at that movie completely different. Yeah. One person could be like, yo, that movie was so sad. One person could be like, that movie was like the best movie I ever seen. One person could be like, yo, did you notice the way that the scenes transition? One person could be like, yo, did you notice the clothes that girl had on? Everybody that sat down and seen that movie is going to see something completely different. Even if there's similarities, they're going to notice something different because they have a different way of thinking. They grew up in a different environment. Like, damn, it makes so much sense. I don't know how I came up with that, but it just clicked to me one day. And I was like, yo, that makes hella sense. It's an experiment. Take three. Next time you watch a show or movie in a group of people, and you in a setting, and you ask each person what they saw or learned, they're gonna say something different. And that'll give you like an insight onto like how they was raised, or like what they care about, what they value.
That's so trippy. I feel like
and you could make the same, like you could like connect that to like what we've just been talking about, like with the government and all this stuff. Like if you don't understand certain things, you're gonna have a different like output on, or different take on a situation.
Damn. We just got deep.
That's just crazy.
Hey, I like to took some psychedelics and some shit.
For real. Nah, I didn't have nothing. Sipping on ginger tea.
Hey, shout out to the ginger tea, man. Shout out to the ginger tea. Bro, I always ask this last question to my guests, man. You always know this. What's your message to humanity right now?
Man, that's a good question. I would say my message right now is to stay open-minded and to trust that everything always works out, even if you don't know how it's going to happen. I think that's probably the biggest message I could give. A lot of times I feel like in our lives, we may worry about different stuff, even stuff that's, I guess, out of our control, like the government and stuff like that. But as long as you stand on your path and you following your purpose and doing what you're supposed to do, everything's going to work out. You just got to trust and just like stay consistent and just relax. Don't try to control everything. Really talking to myself, like just relax. Yeah, like everything.
You gotta check yourself, man. You gotta check
for
yourself.
Real. Sometimes I do be stressing. I'm like, man, relax, bro. None of this is really that serious in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, it seems serious, but you gotta take a step back sometimes and just look at it like, nah, we gonna be okay.
Everything will be okay. Man, Lonnie, as always, bro, fucking love having you on. This is a great episode.
Nah, this is probably the best one we did so far. Like, I've been meaning to have a deep conversation like this. I feel like I've been a little deprived of some intellectual talk.
Yeah, we need that, man.
Yeah, I can't wait for people to hear this because you know how so many people don't even know I kind of have this part of me. Like they see like my chef stuff, they'd be like, "Oh
Yeah.
wow, like yeah, y'all don't even know I could drop some
You
gems on
feel
y'all."
look, we get deep. Hey, bro, hop on. Like you already know you on anytime. So whenever you want to hop back on, if it's sooner than later, just let me know. We'll run it back.
For sure.
My
Yeah,
guy,
definitely. This was good.
this a Halloween episode, fresh on the day, man. So this is a real
Yes,
treat for you
sir.
guys. Real treat for you guys. Lonnie, bro, as always, man, you amazing. And thanks for being on, my G.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you. All right.
Guys,
Peace.
like, subscribe, comment. I want to hear from you. And if you haven't listened to last episode, shit, what's the name of the episode? I can't remember. I tried out that episode too. Episode 79. If you haven't listened to that, I'm about 15, 20 minutes long. Love you guys. Lonnie, love you, brother.
Peace. Appreciate you.